Hey,
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
So, thanks for agreeing to the interview.
Yeah, of
How
course.
how are you doing?
Oh, fine. Hanging
Awesome.
out. Very, very apartment bound. How are you?
I'm the same, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So,
that is what it is.
yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Mhm.
Okay. So, just to go first and foremost, so you started with the lighting design process at the beginning of the show. Has anything major changed since then, besides, of course, the switch from Luma to Zoom?
Um, Everything has changed. There's nothing about the design that existed that exists. Um, so so we had gotten to the point where Josh started hanging the show the day that it was canceled.
Oh,
Um,
that's terrible.
yeah. So basically, I mean, it the Zoom version of it is very, in a way, low impact for me, right? There's not a ton I can do. We don't have a ton of resources. Nobody can be there to physically help anybody. So it's a lot about how do you do one or two things that are a lighting idea, but ultimately what you're doing is you're picking people out of their green screen, making sure we can see them. And that's kind of the extent of it now. Um, so it's made a huge shift.
It's still interesting. So I understand that you sent some like clip lights and stuff to the actors. Is there a particular like kind of clip light that's like technical, or is it just like regular old clip lights?
No, I picked a spotted lamp and a flooded lamp so that we could do like two different ideas if we needed to. For certain people, for Charlie, for instance, the spotted lamp was a very specific idea for something. And then I was like, great, we should provide everybody with roughly egalitarian tools so we can do something. And basically, I took advantage of some of the knowledge I have from having been part of Aquanetta
Oh,
to say,
oh yeah. Oh my God. How did I not
oh,
remember you? I'm sorry. I did wardrobe for it.
oh, it's because I was in the box the whole time. You never saw me. I like never left the platform.
Fair.
But yeah, I mean, because of that, I was like, okay, great. We'll use the same hand dimmers. I do know that these clip lights are like, I know this lamp is fine with video. So like sort of threw it together based on that.
Okay. And ultimately, what won out? Was it the spotted lamp or the flooded lamp that in particular that ended up making it in the final?
Uh, everybody who has everybody who received a light bulb from me is using the flooded lamp, and then the spotted lamp is being used by a couple of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then I guess that brings me to, is most of what you're doing just supervising? The actors are mostly in charge of their own lighting changes?
They're 100% in charge of them. And some of them have no changes at all. Some of them, it's just like when we set up their green screen, we set up a base look, and that's all that happens. Some of them, it's like, oh, in this scene, this light should be a little bit brighter. They don't have a ton to do, but they have a million other things to do. And there's a lot of video treatment happening. There are a lot of other things changing. So really, uh, I am trying to be pretty background in this because I do understand how hard it is to perform and do the 18,000 other things. Um, and because of the amount of heavy lifting Eamon is doing in particular, I am able to be like, okay, I'm going to not impose too many things on them. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
So that being said, I remember in the beginning there was like a discussion you might use natural light. I guess that never came to fruition because of the green screens, right?
Well, it's not really helpful. There are some of them who, like, for the tech process, we've seen what it looks like when they have a window, and that's lovely. It looks great because it's diffuse and whatever. But for instance, Micah looks lovely, but she's got to do a blackout at some point.
Yeah.
So, you know, in the situations where we have to be able to control it, it's a little bit more complicated. So, yeah.
Got it. All right. Then moving on more artistically, is there anything artistically that you think had a significant shift from Luma to Zoom?
I mean, sort of in a way that there is a lighting design, like as silly as that seems, because there are certainly things I am doing now, but you know, there were three very big, like act long lighting ideas in Luma, and they largely had to do with space. And Afsoon and I were working very closely together with all of that. And obviously that is no longer the case. So, you know, it's a huge change.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was mostly just you talking to the actors, being like, what can you move around, that kind of thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
basically at this point. Yeah, because I am limited. And also because most of them have not had to like set up a bunch of dimmers and focus a bunch of lights. Like,
True.
yeah. So, and you know, some of them seem to be very, very like everybody is very capable. And some of them also seem to be like keyed into it in a way that is really cool. But also, you never want to demand something that then takes the focus off of their job. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
I guess for a final question, have you ever been a part of a revolution? And if so, like what was it like? Has it changed your perspective on Mad Forest going into it, even with all the crazy changes? And this is totally optional, by the way.
I mean, I guess it's sort of, I feel like Ashley and I have talked about this a lot, but the idea of what is a revolution, because I certainly was a part of Occupy Wall Street. I certainly have been a part of a lot of women's rights movement marches. I've done a lot of that kind of thing. And I would argue that in a way, Occupy was a revolution. However, I think that it was not violent in the way that the Romanian Revolution was. And I think that I would hesitate to give my part in it quite that much weight. So, you know.
But yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much again.
Yeah, of course.
And thank you for all the work you've put into this.
For sure. Thank you. And thank you for like rounding up everything and doing all of the million things I'm sure you were doing, because this process is insane.
Anytime. All right. So I think I'm going to end the interview here unless there's anything else you'd like to add.